Hey everybody. Welcome back to some more live coding. Tonight we're going to be building a real simple Python honeypot. And so I've already written up the agenda here, and we're going to create a simple TCP honeypot so that anytime someone makes a TCP connection to one of our ports, it gets logged. So essentially we will log port scans. And I'm going to actually package it up as something for pip. So it's going to be a Python package, and then I'm going to create a systemd service file and package it as a deb and publish it up on GitHub. So a lot of this is going to focus on actually packaging the project and showing how to set up an actual application and package it and release it and everything, and not so much on the honeypot part. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start a totally fresh project with PyCharm. What's today's tip? To quickly find and run an inspection, press Ctrl-Alt-Shift-I and start typing the name. Ctrl-Alt-Shift-I. I'll try that later. Let's close this. Let's start a new project. This is going to be a pure Python project. Why don't we call it Nanopot? Sure, why not? And we'll create a new virtual environment inside of our project called VN. That sounds good. Let's give it a minute to load up. Okay, so we've got a nice blank project here. The first thing I'm going to do, since we know this is going to be a Python package, I'm going to set up the structure accordingly. And as a reference, I'm going to use the Chatty Cathy Discord bot code. So I know there's definitely going to be a setup.py. That's going to be the most basic thing. And that's basically going to say, oh, I forget the package name. So from setup tools, import setup. Cool. And then let's view the raw file. So then there's the setup function, and that is basically where you put all of your information about it. So like the name of this package, we'll call it Nanopot. It's a terrible name. Don't name your project this, because I need the project name available on pip, so don't do it. And we'll call it, we're working on version 1.0. Description, simple TCP honeypot. Long description, and the long description can be really long. So in this case, I'm actually going to do what I did there and put the entire contents of the README file in there. And to do that, we're just going to open the README file, and I'm going to make a restructured text. We're going to have to say as README file, and then the data equals README file.read, and then we'll return the data back. So that's what's going to go in there. That way, the long description, every time we push it up to pypi, we'll always have the information from our README file. And what else? We're going to need an author. So should I say Dev Dungeon or Nano Dungeon? Like, this doesn't really matter. My pypi name is Dev Dungeon, so I'm going to go with that. And an email. License, I'm going to do MIT. Packages, so this is the packages that it's going to provide. And in this case, I'm going to create a package, which means a directory. In Python terms, a package is a directory, and a module is a Python file. So I could just create a single file and call it nanopot.py, and that is a module. And in here you could say, you know, if name equals main, if it's invoked directly. But then there's also basically the init stuff happens all up here. So essentially this is your init, this is your main, and anything supporting it goes just in here. So that's basically a single file package. Now the alternative is to basically break up the single module into multiple files. And so what we're going to do here is basically do the same thing, but instead of doing it all inside a single file named nanopot.py, where the module name is nanopot, we're going to do a package, which is basically a module exploded into a folder. And in this case, we can create a file called init.py and a file called main.py, and then any other supporting lives that we need can go in there too. You know, we're not going to, ours isn't going to be this complicated, but I'm just showing you basically these two are equivalent. If I were to just take the contents of all of this and the contents of all of this, drop them into that single file, take the init, put it all in there too, and then the main gets put inside this little block here. So they essentially get treated the same way. So I'm going to go with the package. So instead of modules, I say packages, which just means a directory. So the package there is nanopot. And what else? I don't think I need any scripts. What I'm going to try... Oh, Shanmuka says, can I know what a honeypot is? A honeypot is a service that listens on a server. Well, it can be a lot of different things, but in this case, the honeypot we're making is going to be a TCP server that listens on a few ports. And anytime somebody connects to the port, it's just going to log and close, or say something like unauthenticated, and kind of trick them into thinking it's a real service. And that way we'll log port scans, we'll log brute forces, and just kind of any suspicious activity. And it'll just be interesting to see what kind of logs come out of it. And so scripts, I don't actually think I want any. Because what I'm going to do instead is use the main. So if you have the main, then what you can do to invoke it, so like if you did pip install nanopot, and then you could do python-m nanopot, and then what that would do is invoke the main py. And that's just how I'm going to launch it from the systemd service. Okay. So what else? Scripts, package data. No, I don't. These are just raw files. I don't have any extra files to go with it right now. Zip safe equals I'm not actually. There shouldn't be. It should be zip safe. There shouldn't be anything problematic with that, but I'm just gonna say no. It's so small anyway, and install requires, and I'm gonna go with docopt because I like it. I'm gonna try it out, and I suppose that's it. Okay. Install requirements, yes please, go ahead. And docopt, if you're not familiar with it, is a way to take command line options. Basically, you can, in the docopt at the top of the file, you put in the actual usage of your program. Where's the Python example? Docopt, Python. So they have docopt for a bunch of different languages, but I think it started with Python. Yeah, here we go. So you would basically put in your docopt what the output actually would be if someone were to just like type help. Can we integrate with React Native? There's not going to be any React Native here. You could use React Native to make a port scanner. So in this case, what I want to say here is Nanopot. No, I'm gonna go like and use this one. Oh, it's Nanopot. And I guess the only thing we're gonna take is the path to the config file. So should be able to do like this. Let's see. I used it in the Kathy one, so let me see how I did it there. I know it's in the bin script. Here we go. Yeah, this is how I did it. Let's just yank that. So this is gonna be Nanopot. Simple TCP Honeypot logger. Path to config options file. Okay, so that should be good. I suppose this should go in the main file. Because this is the one that's going to get run directly. And then we'll say args equals docopt. And then we're going to give it the actual doc string from this file. So this is actually this. And just to make sure it looks right, we'll print it out. Oh, I think it's args and then the actual name like this. And so what the benefit of this is, it knows that this is a required field because it's in the angle brackets. If it were in the square brackets, they would know it was optional, and you could put a default value, and so it does a lot of really smart stuff. Okay, so... Oh, I put it in the wrong file again. Delete. Paste. I wanted it in the main. Okay, so what I can do here, now that I've got this, to keep this from erroring out, let me make sure I put a readme.rst even if it's empty. Okay, so now what I can do is python setup.py develop. And what this is going to do is symlink everything as if I did a python setup.py install, but it's going to symlink it to my working stuff here. So if I do pip list, I can see what looks like my package here installed, and it says location right here. And so what I should be able to do then is python-m nanopot. And then we see it does invoke, it invokes the main file here. And we see it says, hey, actually you need the options. And then if you do -h, it prints out the fuller help. So when you just run it without the things, it says, hey, you used it wrong. Fill it out like that. And you say, okay, hold on, give me -help or -h. It says, okay, here's the full help information. And actually, I do want to make this file optional. Because by default, I want it to use /etc/nanopot.ini. So I need to change all of these to square brackets, because I do actually want it to be optional. I don't like the Vim mode in PyCharm. Oh, I guess optional... The way to do that is... Hold on, let's see what they're doing here. -o file. Man, I don't want to get hung up on all this. This wasn't even what I wanted to show. So, you know what? Screw all this for now. I'm going to assume that config file is Etsy, what was it? Nanopot.ini. We're just going to use Python. Python ini file. And what I want to load from there is going to be the ports and the log file path. So it's going to be more something like --config file. To do, replace with doc_opt cards. So Python, they have a really easy way to load up ini files. So that's to write, here we go. That's to write, I want to read one. There it is, config.read. Config.read, example.ini, and then you basically got it. In this case we want to read config file path, and up here we want to import actually none of those, it's config parser .config parser. And then we want to import config parser. Alt enter, import config parser. Okay. So then we should have config, not sections I want. There should be a way to read it. There should be a read, yeah, here we go, .get boolean. This way, because you don't want to read directly in here because something may not exist. So you want to use get with a default value. That's the best way to do it. So what I'm going to do is say get string. What problem is it having here? Get boolean, get in. They don't have a get string. They just have a get. Hold on, I need to turn off this Vim mode. I don't like it because like half the keybinds are mixed and overlap. So some of them act like Vim some of the time, and some of them act like PyCharm ones some of the time. So I'm just gonna restart real quick. Okay. So where were we? Now we have .get, and I can do a Control P, and it'll pop up all of the things I need to fill out, all the parameters. And so interesting. Do you have to have a section? I guess you do have to have a section. So we'll say the section is default. Set the optional raw argument to true if you wish to disable interpolation. Yeah, I do. Raw equals true. And then fallback equals... So this is going to be a list of the ports. And in that case, we'll say something like 22, 80, 443, 80, 80, 8888, 9999, something like that. 3306. I'm just going to mimic some ports. I'm going to duplicate that and do the same thing for log file. And that's just going to default to var log nanopot.log. Okay. So let's see if that actually works. But what I'm going to do here is duplicate, comment, and I'm going to replace this with a relative path, I suppose. So I'm creating the file in the bottom. Well, let's just give it 1 for now. Maybe 2. Same thing here, we'll just say home nanodano nanopot.log. Okay, so I think this is going to be relative from the launch directory. So if I do python -m nanopot, okay, so here we'll say ports equals this. It ran, it didn't error out, which is good. And then log files that. So then we'll say print ports. And then print the log file just kind of for our debugging purposes. There we go. Okay, so it's correctly loading our INI file. And just to confirm, if we were to, let's say, comment them out and run it again, then it falls back to those default values. Good. So if there is no file either, so let's just rename, well, let's just point this somewhere else. We'll just say a fake one. So it should error out now. But it didn't. Interesting. I was thinking it would throw an exception. But it looks like we don't have to bother. Interesting. I would expect it to throw an exception here if the file didn't exist. Maybe that's an option. Control P. File names. Files that cannot be opened are silently ignored. This is designed that you can specify an iterable of potential configuration files. Oh, that's actually kind of cool. So you could have like the Etsy system one, a personal one, a local one, blah blah blah. But this is gonna be fine. So now we can say Honeypot, and actually the ports. We're gonna replace We're going to replace the string of the ports with the actual list. And if that doesn't work, so we're going to say error parsing ports and actually provide the list of ports. Well, I suppose we should say then we should differentiate between these two. We'll call it the ports list, just to be real explicit. And then we'll pass in the ports list and the log file path. That's how I want to name it, since it's just the path and not the actual file. And then just a little nicer output. Okay, so now, yeah, I want to create a class called Honeypot. I'm going to take it out of there and put it into the init function though, because I want it to define the class when we initialize the thing. But we do have to import it from itself. So when we say from Nanopot, we're basically saying from this package, import this class. So even though we're in the same package, it needs to import it from the init file, basically. And we're going to have an init function here for our thing. And this one is where we're going to take in the ports. For port imports, print, going to listen on this port. So in the main, we can say, yep, okay, go ahead and create it, even though we're not doing anything with it. Oh, I guess we need to do... We need to define it, unless we put this inside the whole try. We'll do that, and then we'll just do sys.exit1 here if that happens. Error, parsing ports, exiting. And we'll add a new line there, just in case that's a lot of ports. Okay, so we actually need to say in here to take the log file path. And we'll say maybe just as a sanity check, we'll say if ports equals, well, maybe we do this, oh, maybe it's len. If len of ports is less than 1, print no ports provided, just kind of as a sanity check. Throw exception. That's not throw, it's raise. Raise exception. Let's just do that. Okay, so let's try and run it again. Okay, so it found our INI file, it's initializing our class, and it's repeating out, okay, yeah, I'm gonna listen on these ports. So, one thing I want to do actually, I want to swap out the prints for logs. So we just need to set up the logger at the beginning. Yeah, here we go. logging equals get logger. Do that up here. I need to import logging and this one. And I think the common practice here is to use the name of the file. Okay, so now we've got a logger, and we can replace. We can do, I think it's Control R for replace. So we'll replace print with logger.info and replace them all, but this one's actually well, yeah, we'll just handle it like that. This one actually will output it as an error. Info's there, error there. Okay. So now we can start setting up the logic for our honeypot. Oh, I guess we need to actually set up this one to use the file. So we're going to do the same thing and create a logger here. Logger equals logging.getLogger. Was that right? Import logging. And we're going to do the same thing. Import, create a logger for the name. But we need to set, yeah, the handler file. Let's see, this stuff can be tricky sometimes. Python logger file example. I'm not sure where the closest example I have is. Okay, so it is here. Logging basic config. Now let's go to the Python 3 one just to make sure. Here we go. You create the logger, set the level, and yeah, we'll go ahead and set the level too. So in this one we'll say logging.info. That'll be the level. Well, for right now we'll do debug, huh? Logger, well no, then we say logging. Hold on a second. Because there's a bunch of different ways to do this. So yeah, so what they're doing is creating the logger and then adding properties to it. The other way to do it is create all of the properties and stuff first. Set up logging to a file. Yeah, more like this. Logging basic. And then you call get logger. So I'm going to put this inside of the init. And same thing, if log file path well, I suppose we can just let it try. Log file path. And sure, we'll go with that. We'll actually give it seconds too. Okay, that should all be fine. Logger.info test. So I think this one will only log to the file. We'll see if we can just get it to log within our project. So let's see, did it create? Yes, it did. There it is. Now you can see it created, okay, the date and the time. I don't like the way it does the date, and I don't need the name of the module. So let's go back up here. And we'll say, okay, yeah, get rid of the name. We'll leave the log level so it says either info or debug, and then leave the message there too. Now the time I want to change, I think it's big Y. Year, month, date, hours, minutes, seconds. Okay, now let's try it again. There we go, so now we've got date, time, level, and then the message. That looks good. And I guess we could store it on itself. Might as well, right? Since it's being part of the object. Okay. And then we're basically going to have a function called start listening that's going to go through each port in the port. So I guess we have to store the ports on itself. So self.ports equals ports. And then we don't need to store the log file path. Although I suppose it wouldn't hurt. Okay. Honeypot initializing. Okay, so we're getting there. And let me make a git ignore file. And let me pin this. So then we're gonna say ignore. Now these are because these are testing files for right now. Ignore those, ignore the virtual environment, ignore star.egginfo, and ignore the dist folder because that's going to get created soon. Ignore any pycache, ignore any pyc files too. Plugin support for log files? Okay, go ahead. So now actually to make the honeypot part. So I should have... Oh, I have the cookbook open. Let's see. I should have some Python TCP examples already. Under networking. TCP server, client server, and I want TCP serve threaded. Here we go. This should be helpful. So yeah, actually, let's make a separate class. Or should we? No, let's just thread them in there. Okay, so here we're going to say self dot, we'll just call it listeners. Listeners is going to be a list. We're going to have a list of all of the listeners. And so for each one, we're basically going to create a new listener. Store in self.listeners. something like that. I suppose we could store it as a dictionary. And then we could say self-listeners and then the port number. Or actually, do we even need to convert it to a string? I guess we'll find out. Then we actually know what port it's listening on. We'll see how that works. Let me copy this over and throw it down here for now. Okay, so we're going to have a function called handle client. Let's see, so the client socket should have the port number, I think. Let's see. Well, first off, let's import socket. And I think we want to import socket.socket. The bind IP. We might want to change that later, but I'm just going to go ahead and set it to everything for now. And the port is going to be whatever the port is. And so server, let me refactor that. I'm just going to call it listener. We're going to need a handle function, a handle client function. Though we don't technically have to do any of that. We can literally just close it. Why don't we say access denied? And we could log. Why don't we log some bytes? Why don't we log like 64 bytes? And then we'll say logger.info and connection from blank colon and then the message. We'll call it data. Logger.info, but we need a couple variables here. So connection from client socket dot, let's see, Python client socket class. So there should be something like the remote address. Socket, here we go, socket. Okay, these are methods, I want the properties. Socket objects, accept, bind, close, connect. Here we go. Get sock name, return socket owner's address. This is useful to find out the port number of a socket, for instance. We'll try that, get sock name. I'm not sure if that is going to give me the local socket name or the remote one. Because, Well, I guess what we could do is we'll know what port we're listening on already. No, hang on, what am I missing over here? Oh, there it is. That's where it ties it together. Okay, so let's import threading as well. Yeah, here we go. So let's pass some more args into the thing. Like the port that we're listening on. And sure, how about adder 1 and adder 0? Okay, so now let's update this signature to take in some more things like the port and I guess this is going to be the IP in the port, actually. I think that's going to be the remote port. Oh, I need one more here. That's going to be... Oh, let's try this. IP remote port data. I think that's all we need. What is this? Unresolved attribute reference? Oh. Okay. Okay, so handle client, well, maybe I'll rename that to handle connection. That's going to go as a method on this class here. And then I'm going to use self.logger. Start listening, and then this is where I'm going to say, okay, for each port, create the new listener. Now this can't go right there because actually no, we're gonna have to kick off this whole thing inside a thread, yeah. Basically all this is gonna have to go inside a thread. Okay. So what's the best way to do this? I need to basically say start new listener thread on the port, and this basically needs to go right there. And this basically needs to go inside of it. But this basically needs to be like that. Something kind of like that. Hold on. So we're already saying whenever we get a client, start a new thread. So we should be able to do kind of the same thing here. So can't we do threading.thread, and the target is going to be self.start, no, not start listening, start new listener thread, and the args is going to be a tuple with the port. And then we don't even need to save it, but we should, right? So we've got self.listeners equals, yeah, so hold on, that's actually going to be like that. And I want to rename that now from listeners to listening threads, just to be real clear. So then we've got, okay, for each one we're storing in the dictionary a new thread, and then the next thing we're going to do is start it. Store it and start it. And then they're all listening. Then they should all be listening, and then whenever they get a connection, they should log it. So are we done? Are we done? Is this going to work? Should we find out? Oh, I guess we're going to need... What I'm not sure about is... Yeah, am I going to have to do something like this? Just to keep it alive forever? So if I run python-m nanopot, yeah, it just starts and stops. So what happens if we do this? Oh, well, we also didn't call run. I need to go back into the main, and we actually need to call honeypot.run. An integer is required, got type string. Oh, hold on. Not a problem. That was on line 35. Port. So I should just be able to cast it to an int like that. Okay, so now I'm actually concerned that it only kicked off one. Oh, it stopped. Wait. No, is it running? Hold on. Run. Okay, so let's try something. With this terminal open, it should... Actually, it should be printing out some help information at least. Are we not providing... Hold on. Why isn't the main one still logging? This one should still... Well, no, I guess because init... Well, see, it's not changing that until... here. So these should still... print test. Okay, let's see if... Yeah, so... Where's the log... Where's the log text going? Why aren't these coming... Oh, because the log level? Logging dot level... logger.setLevel logging.info. Okay, I think it's blocking. What the heck? Oh, well. No, something's... Something's weird with the logger there. But let's see. Since I'm not really using... I don't want to do the logging from here anyway, it's not really that important. The logging should be done from this one anyway. So let's just leave it all in there. Loggers all go in here, but let's also, while we're at it then, print the settings here. List the ports. We'll do self.ports. And then self.log file path. Oh, Louise says, hey there. Hey, Louise. Okay, so now we should at least get some more helpful information when we run it. Yeah, so we can see it's at least logging, it's loading the ports. So let's figure out where it's dying. Or how far it's getting. So let's run it in debug mode actually. Let's add a configuration here for Python. The script path is going to be nanopot main. Okay. And I want to add a debug breakpoint in here. Start new listener. I'm not sure, maybe right here? I'll start there. I'll also add one right there. Go into debug mode. Okay, so we're there. That's not where I was expecting it to stop. Resume. Oh, it's done. Run. Error. Oh. So in the... I know what I need to do. I need to just give it the working directory. I need to set the working directory up one more. There. Now we can find the config file here. So let me run it in debug mode again. Okay, so here we have the listener threads. There's no threads in it. So we're going to say for port import. Go through and do this. So we're going to use step over F8. We're going to do F8. Okay, it's going to create the thread. Created. Now it's going to start it. Okay, now we're on this line here. Stepped over. Now we have one. Now we have one going. F8, F8. Okay, now we've got two going. Right? Continues F8. Honeypot run. F8. Now we're back here. Listener bind. And then what? Now it just runs? I guess because it's never gonna wait till they're done, so I guess it is running. So net stat sudo apt install netstat. Netstat ubuntu nettools. Netstat dash p dash l. Listening ones. Listening TCP. Okay, here we go. 9999. But wait. That's the only one. There should be more than one. There should be like 3 or 4. Let's see. Yeah, let's try it again. Let's try 888-777-8080. Okay, stop and rerun. Okay, so now we see 9999-8888-7777. So let's try netcat localhost 7777. Hello. Oh. Okay, I'm trying to send a string and it doesn't like that. What I need to do is encode to UTF-8. Let me stop. It's going to take a second for the things to unbind. Restart. Ah, still in use. Stop. Yeah, so there's gonna be a cleaner way to shut it all down, but it's dirty right now. So what I'm gonna try is just use a different set for now. We'll try 7770, 7771, 7772. Start. Netstat listening TCP ports. There they are. So now let's try netcat on 1. And so it should read some of the data that I send it, even if it doesn't read all of it. And then it sends me back, boom, access denied. And then in our log, we should see, here it is. Connection from remote, the remote port. And then a little chunk of what was sent in. Awesome. We have a honeypot. We have a simple honeypot. And that's it. We're done. Have a good night. Just kidding. Not done. In case you missed it, this is the agenda. Okay. So now what I want to do what do I want to do? I'm glad it works. Aren't you glad it works? I'm glad it works. So what I'm going to do maybe is provide nanopot.ini.sample or .example. Or rather, just to keep the file extension looking good, I'll do .example.ini. So that one can go in there. As an example. And then setup.py. Yeah, we actually don't need udoc-opt. Thanks for playing though. You get a participation trophy. And we don't have any scripts because we're just using the launcher. And we're providing one package, that's this. Two lines, line at the end. That file's looking beautiful. I'm gonna close it up. Okay, our log is also looking pretty good, except we're not seeing what port it came in on. We're seeing where the person came from, but we need to see... Let's get rid of these breakpoints. And collapse that. We need to see... Let's see where it says connection from... Yeah, so... When we say handle connection... Let's also give it the port. And then up here, connection on port blank from blank. Connection on port. There. Now we should get the port number. So we can see like, oh, we're getting slammed on port blank blank. In fact, why don't I just, to make this a little bit more log friendly, I suppose we just do a space, that's fine. There. It's a little more condensed and a little more choppable if you wanted to use something like awk to parse through the output. So I want this to also log to the console. Python logger console. I don't want it to just go to the file. I want it to go to the file and the console. There should be a way to tell it to go to both. Logging, no, not that. Logging variables. Changing format, no. Displaying date, no. Next steps, advanced logging. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, we want to basically add a handler. Logger objects to themselves with that handler. Let's do that then. We'll say self.logger.addHandler, and we'll call it the console handler. Python 3 logging console handler. I think they have a handler already. Create a console handler logging stream handler. You can set different formatting on it too. Okay. Yeah, so this is what I'm going to do. We're going to make a I'm debating, should I use a different format? I'll just use the default. Self-logger add handler, the console handler. I'm not a fan of these little 1-2 letter variable names. Okay. I'm gonna make a whole separate function here to handle the logging. Self.configure logging. And I'm going to put all that in there. Alt-enter, add method. Just drop it all in there. And just to get rid of that warning and be explicit and let people know there's a variable there, I'm just going to do that. Okay, so now when it does all of the logging, it should also log to the console. Play. Oh, let's see. Oh, it's because I need to call configure logging up here. Or I suppose what I could do instead is this. Instead of saying I'm going to call it prepare logger. And then instead of setting it here, I'm just going to create it and then return it. That way I can just do that. Now I can say self-logger equals prepared logger. That's a little bit cleaner. I get rid of all the warnings. I suppose I can do this very first thing. Okay. Run it. No console logs. Oh, maybe I need to do... Yeah, error, no. This should be debug. There we go. Stopping that. Fixing that should fix it. I'm gonna take a drink of water 1 sec. Okay, it looks like I just messed up one of the log things here, so this is actually a string. It's a string when I get it, so I don't need to convert it to a decimal or a number, a digit. Address already in use. Alright, that happens sometimes. So let's do 3, 4, and 5 for now. Restart. There we go. It's listening, it's doing its thing. I'm gonna do 773. Hello? Access denied. So I don't like the way it reads first, because these port scanners probably aren't going to send any data. So in this class here, I'm actually not going to listen, or not going to read anything. So that's in the handle connection. Well, I suppose I could just say, hey, I got the connection. Connection received. And then if there's data. Now I guess it should... We need to set a timeout too. There should be a way to socket set timeout. Set timeout. Now is that in seconds? Floating point number expressing seconds. I don't know. We'll just wait for three seconds to see if they send any data. And if they do, then instead of just saying connection received, we'll say data received. We'll just make a whole separate log entry if we happen to get data from them. And then it should close. Play. Connect. Okay, there. Now we see connected and then timed out because I didn't say anything in time. So let's actually, let's up that to 10 seconds just so I can have time to respond. Okay, so now we can actually type in some data. So we can see, okay, connection received on the port 773 from there. Then, if there was data received, print it out. Otherwise, if it just times out, it just won't say anything. It'll just assume that it was kind of a passive connection. Oh, but actually, socket.timeout. Okay, so I want to wrap it in a try. Accept socket.timeout. Timeout error as ES. Let's just set it to 2 seconds. We'll try and rerun it. Address already in use. Alright, let's go back. 772. Alright, connection received. It should time out. Okay, what actually exception was that? They raise a timeout exception. It is called a socket.timeout in all lowercase. The timeout exceptions usually aren't lowercase. And I know what it is. You gotta import it like that. Stop. Restart. 1000, 2, 1000, 3, 1000. Start. Nope. Alright, let's Okay, let's just go swap these. Okay. Connection received, let it time out. Okay, now it times out quietly without any problem. Good. So now it's catching that exception if it times out, and it's just passing. It's just saying, no, no problem, don't do anything. Just close. Maybe we'll give it 3 or 4 seconds. Okay. I think we are good to go. I think we are good to go. Actually, we should probably accept the bind IP as a config variable. So let's take that in. Let's say IP. IP, why don't we, just to be explicit, we'll call it the bind IP. And then we'll store it. Self.bind IP equals bind IP. And we're going to need that down here. Self.bind IP. And then in main, we want to actually pass in the bind IP. And let's pull that from here. And we'll call it host. Because I think you can actually give it a name as opposed to an IP. So by default, we'll say 0000. And by default, let's use some ports that probably aren't going to be in use anyway. So this is going to be host. Here we'll pass in the host. And I think we are good. Let's see. Alright, I think this is fine. I think this looks just fine. Okay, so actually we want to pull in the config path, so if sys.argv, if the length is less than 2, we'll say print the usage, sys exit 1. Create a function called print usage. We're going to say print usage. Python-m nanopot etc nanopot.ini. Yep, I think that's good. So let's try it out. What if we did just say Python-m nanopot? It's going to say usage. So why don't we actually say print not enough arguments. Not enough arguments? Okay, so what if we say print nanopot.ini? Okay. 0, 1, 2. Print sysargv2. I just wanted to make sure it's getting it. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now I guess we can just... Well, we'll leave it there just to be clear what it is. Alright. Our launch file looks good. And I can still leave I can still leave this there even though we're not using it with the doc opt. I guess we can also say we can keep the help too. We can say or sys.argv 0 equals -h. Or I guess we could say sys.argv in h --help. So now, if we say help, or I guess it should be 1 -help or -h. In this case, instead of printing the usage, why don't we just print the doc? Which is basically the same thing, but more helpful. Okay, cool. So at least we got to use this text up here for something. Just a little comment. Check arguments, load config. Well, this is all load config. Double check ports provided. Okay. That one looks good to me. Okay. So, I think that's it. I think I'm ready to package it up and push it. I guess I should do, no, I think that'll be okay. Python-m nanopot -h, and then maybe nanopot.ini. Address already in use? It's because it's already bound up here. Yep, there it goes. Awesome. We're good to go here. I'm going to, let's see, python setup.py sdist. Okay, now it created a package, and actually I don't think naming them with a capital, I don't think that's standard practice. I think it's better to name your package all lowercase. Okay. So yeah, we've got our init file, our main, which is actually our launcher, and if we had any other supporting libraries, we could add them as modules inside of our package. Can delete both of those. Okay, git status. Oh, git init. Maybe that's why nothing was grayed out. Yeah, there we go. Git add. Commit, I'll say stable working honeypot. How come the ignored files aren't being grayed out? Install. Yeah, there's this git ignore, or it's not a git ignore specifically, but it's a .ignore. It'll gray out files that are being ignored. It makes it easier to see and make sure you're ignoring the right things. There we go. Now you can see the dist folder's grayed out. Same with this ini and this log file. We do have an example ini, which is good, in the README. Okay, so the README, let's see here. Documentation. And in fact, you know what I should do? For the sake of showing you how to package a really good project, is actually put the documentation up on Read the Docs. So I need Sphinx, so I'm going to do pip install Sphinx. Yeah, so how do you Python setup.py dev dependencies? Yeah, okay. Sphinx quick start docs. Separate source and build directories? No. Project name? Nanopot. Authors NanoDano. Project release 1. English. Finished. An initial directory has been created. You should now populate your docs index RST. Perfect. Now, I'm surprised it actually didn't ask me about if I wanted to auto-generate let's see. So I think I added, yeah, I added some docs here so I can copy a couple things. Yeah, so that's how you do the TOC tree. So you basically just link here, so you say pages slash quick start .rst. And here I'll make a directory called pages quick start oops, not RTS, RST. Okay, so here installation, it's going to be pip install, I guess, just to be clear, python-m pip install Honeypot. Running. And that's gonna be RTFD. Running it is going to be python-m Nanopot. Installing as debian package. Get the .deb file from GitHub releases page and run sudo d package -i what was it gonna be? Nanopot 1.0.0 .deb. Then enable the service with sudo systemctl enable Nanopot. Logs will be available in verilog nanopot.log. Config defaults to etc nanopot.ini. Okay. Honeypot is a simple TCP honeypot written in Python 3. Okay. So we've only got one page, and that's okay for now. But let's try something. Let's go into the docs. We should be able to just say make, or make HTML. Make HTML. Okay, why don't I try Firefox build HTML index. Okay, so here's the documentation. And we can see it's dumping out the table of contents for that page we made, and we can click right onto the page. And then we see installation, running, installing as a Debian package, source code, documentation. Even though these don't exist yet, I'm gonna set them up soon. Okay, so our documentation is good. It's in the repo. And I'm basically gonna copy, I'm just gonna put some links here. So source code, a link to the documentation, and I can copy that from here. Honeypot is a simple TCP honeypot written in Python 3. Source code's there, documentation's there. Nice and simple for the README. Actually, for the documentation, what I'll say is documentation can be found in the docs directory or at that link. Build the docs by running make in the docs directory. Then viewing docs build HTML indexation. There, we say documentation can also be found in the docs directory as restructured text files. There we go. There we go. I'm happy with that. Okay, so that's all that's going to go in the README there. Maybe I will put my email. Live coding of this project. Let's also add a link. A link to the video, just for a reference to. Okay. I think that all looks good. Now what we need to do is package up. We need to make the Debian package. Okay, so to make the Debian package, we have to make this Debian folder, and then inside of it, we have to create a file called control. And inside that, we basically start off by saying what the name of the package is, the version, the maintainer, the description, simple TCP honeypot, homepage, we'll do the GitHub repo. Architecture all. It's going to depend on Python 3. Huh. Now I'm actually not sure. So if we make the if we make this package, we're gonna have to also actually manually, we're gonna have to either create a virtual environment or install our package ourselves. So we're gonna need something like oh, actually, you know what? I think this is also a capital I. I'm not sure. Key package help. Installed lowercase I. Now there's a way you can tell it to run a script. There's like a pre and a post install script you can say. Pre-install. Yeah, here we go. Pre-inst. Pre-inst. The script that is executed before the package it belongs to is unpacked. Post-inst. This script typically completes any required after it's been unpacked. Yeah, so I want to post-inst that. Debian package post-inst. Oops. Yeah, so let's see. But where? Oh, you actually named the script that. That's what you do. Post-inst. That's actually going to be the script. So that should be, yeah, bin bash. In that case, we're basically gonna, I guess what we'll do is say python 3 -m pip install nanopot. Okay. I guess that'd work, right? We could, I guess we'd want to, like, install the actual file instead of getting it from the internet. But, yeah. There's going to be better ways to do this, but I think this will work. And then I guess everything else is just goes inside a directory where you would want them to be. Oh, which one did I do a package for? I want to see... I know I've got several of these examples. It's all over the place, I just keep forgetting where they are. Okay, yeah, there's the control. And I forget, I'm pretty sure I basically do this. I just start mocking out the file system. Let's see. And then in here is going to be nanopot.ini. Ports equals 8080, 888. Okay. Oh, the file's being ignored. Oh, no, test it. Okay. So now we've got the config file. I guess in the opt is where we could dump the built file. I'd rather not. I wonder... This probably is terrible practice, but I'm just gonna let it install from pypi. You won't be able to update it properly. Yeah, I'm not sure what the best practice here is, but yeah, what I'll do is I'll python setup setup.py sdist, build it, and then put that in opt, and then postins will say install. Oh, I'm gonna need a systemd file too, I forgot. So... yeah, so etc systemd system... and then I'm gonna copy... I've got a systemd file already that I'll use as an example. Oh no, you know what? Maybe I don't. I gotta go. I got a reference page though. There it is. There we go. It's going to be called nanopot.service. Drop it in. Sure, we'll add the plugin. Unit description is nanopot honeypot. It's simple user. Ooh, that's a good question. Let's do nanopot. And in the post install script, let's also do. Now there's. There's two ways to do it. There's user add and add user. Oh, I guess this is my. I need sudo for this. No, I don't. See, I don't want that one. I don't want add user. User add. Yeah, that's the one that doesn't create any kind of password or home directory or like anything. So we'll need the user. We'll need to create the user so that the service can have a low privilege user. And the working directory, ooh, it doesn't really need one. It's not gonna have one either. I suppose we could make one. -D. Oh. I need to do -D first. I'm wondering if that'll make a home. What? User add dash. Oh, that's if I have options. -D, that's what I need. -D home nanopot. There we go. Nanopot 2. That should do it. So what I want to do in here is, and that should have created it too. No, it didn't. So I bet I don't even need that. There, now we'll have a working directory even though it doesn't do anything. At least it's got a safe working directory, low privilege user, low privilege working directory. And to actually execute it, we're just going to run python-m nanopot, and it's automatically going to use the well, I guess we do need to say, right there. Restart on failure. Say always. Well, we'll do on failure. Okay, now we're done here. We're done there. Now I forget, how do I build? -- build. Okay. Dpackage. Dpackage -deb -build. /debian. I'm going to put all that into a subdirectory called deb. Oh, I think I know too. These, I think those go outside of the Debian folder. Like that. Okay, gmod +x debian postinst build building built deb.deb. Oh. Man depackage. I wonder if I can specify the output. We'll call it nanopot.deb. There we go. Let me copy that and put that into the README too. Or rather, I'll put that into the documentation. Quick start. Running, installing. Build Debian package. Oh, you know what else it should do after the post install? After the post install, it should also systemctl enable Nanopot so that it will automatically start it. Okay. Download the package from GitHub releases, or build the Debian package. Then install it with that. Configs are there. Okay. So let's try rebuilding it again. Build it. Now let's try installing it. Sudo dpackage-i nanopot deb. Oh, it's going. It ran our script. You can see it tried to run it, but it says, hey, the user already exists. That's okay. The directory or its parent is not owned. Please check the permissions. Oh yeah, you know what? It might be running that as my user. Let me deactivate Python 3-n pip list. Now is Nanopot in here? Yeah, it is. So it installed it globally. Okay, so let me go check out my system. etc system systemd system. Yeah, there it is. Okay, systemctl status Nanopot error executable path. Oh yeah, it needs a full user bin Python 3. User bin Python 3. And just to be clear too, I want that to be the system Python 3. Okay, so we will build it, install it, Okay, let's do sudo apt remove. Okay, so now that we removed it, we can install it again. Oh yeah, and it's saying it's already installed. That's okay. Why don't we try pip uninstall Honeypot just in case. Okay, let's try it again. Let's see if it... Well, let's build it first. Build it. Install it. Oh, yeah. Pip uninstall, no prompt. Now that this stuff's not strictly necessary. And again, this is probably not the best way to go about doing this. Because now I've got that package in opt, which I could probably delete it. So, I mean, yeah, now that once it's installed, there's no reason to keep it. Okay, so how do we check? So I am going to delete it just to clean it up. Ubuntu user add if doesn't exist. How do you check if the user exists? What's the best way to do it? ID-use some name. Okay, that'll work. ID-u nanopot. And we're gonna pipe that so it doesn't output anything. And if it's successful, no, only if it's not successful, do user add something. And make dir-p, I think, quiets that out. So, okay, let's try this one more time. Let's build it and install it. Uninstalling Nanopot, installing. It cleaned it up and deleted it. Python 3-n pip list. Should be up here. Yep. Okay, so that's acceptable to me. I'm gonna go with that. This will probably have to change whenever there's a new version. So yeah. You know what? I am going to just have it download from the internet. Right? Because then as long as there's a version role on that, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it. So instead of installing it from the opt, I'm just going to have it uninstall and then install Nanopot, but I need to say no cache. Pip install no cache, no cache dir, no dash dash no cache dir. So it will require the internet. Which is not the best, honestly. It'd be nice if it did just have the file in there like we did with the opt, but I don't want to have to update this file every time, and I don't want to build a build procedure around it, so boo. Not going to. And it should always, as long as we package a new one. Okay, so Python setup.py sdist. Oh, it said it was missing a description too. Was it? Key package missing description. Oh yeah, it might be using a cached version of the package. Oh, do I have a typo? Description? No. Description. No, whatever. Okay, so now I'm just going to finish packaging it up. So twine upload sdist. Oh, it's just dist /nanopod10. Enter my username and password. Okay, no problem. 1 second. Let me get them. Oh, I think I got it wrong. Password. Let's try this very carefully. What? Hold on. My paste doesn't seem to be doing the right paste. Here, I guess I'll just try typing it in. Okay, so now if we go to pypi and we look around, we should find Nanopot, and there it is. There's the short description. Here's our nice long description. Oops. And let me actually update the README now to include pypi package link. And since that's not going to change, I'll drop it into the docs too. Okay, so we need to go make the GitHub repo now. Add the remote. Git remote add origin. What else? Star.deb can be ignored. Okay. Okay, what do we have? Git ignore. Okay. Readme, deb stuff, deb, docs. Yep, looks good. Okay. Adding docs. Systemd, dev package, all that good stuff. Push. Set upstream, origin master. Okay. So now the link to the source code is accurate and working. These are working. Oh. Having a link to pypi. There we go. That one should be accurate now too. Good. Documentation. That one we need to go set up right now. So that's read the frickin' docs. Now I already have an account. So I should be able to go into settings, webhooks, and I can say import a project. Now I wonder. Yeah, see, it doesn't see my dev dungeon ones, it only sees my nano ones. So I'll import manually. I guess it wants the HTTPS one. Sphinx HTML. Programming language, Python, tags, Python, TCP, networking, Honeypot, server, service, project homepage, we'll just put the GitHub repository. Okay, so now I need to hook up. I actually need to hook up the webhooks. Oh yeah, there's a badge. Restructured text. I forgot you can actually. Adding docs badge. Cool. So now, let's see, build. I forget here. Admin. There's a webhooks. Could not add a webhook. Make sure you have correct. There we go. Okay, I just need to log in real quick to GitHub. I don't know what's up with my copy paste not working. we go. Why is it erroring out? Let's try doing push. This integration was created automatically from existing webhook configured on your repository. There we go. Check. Awesome. Overview. Let's do a build now. Okay. I think we are... Okay, well, actually, one last thing I want to do. Build... Oh, let's see. History grep package. I want to do a build. 4269. Okay. Build failed. Sphinx error. Contents.rst not found. Okay, hold on. Now, where is it expecting contents? Contents. Now, where is it getting the idea that it should be contents.rst and not index.rst? Hold on, let's see real quick. That's... Let's see. Okay, well, rather than messing with the default here, let's see. Sphinx conf.py default index.rst. Now it's interesting because the make works just fine. Oh no, wait a second. That's interesting because I did I did? That's weird, because I swear I did do a build HTML and it worked fine earlier. -a. Oh. Yeah, I must have got an old version of Sphinx or something, because it didn't set up the git ignore. It didn't ask me all of those questions. Fixing docs, removing docs, build. Okay, so this should trigger another build. And hopefully that one will work. So let's go check out, read the docs. Yeah. So there should be a new build getting triggered right now. Oh, and it says passing. Okay, nanopot. Okay, it's not quite ready yet. It says build passed, but there's no index now. Is that the problem? I'm confused. On what happened there. I did a Sphinx quick start. Is it just taking a minute to build? It might just be taking a minute. But let's see here. It might also be because there's no index anymore. I've done this before, so I don't know what the deal is. Sphinx quick start. Okay, so yeah, something weird's going on, so I'm gonna try something. Move docs. Old. Sphinx quick start. Separate source and build directories. No, name prefix for static dir blank. Project name nanopot. Author names nano. Project release 1. English, RST, name of your master document, index. Yeah, see, now this one's asking me a whole bunch more questions that I didn't get before. Autodoc. Yes. Doc test, no. No. Coverage check, sure. No. Yes. No. Yes. There we go. Okay. So now... Where did it... Oh no. It put it in my current directory. Move makefile. Well, I guess I could just make it move makefile conf.py index make.dat. Move them all into docs. So now I can copy over the file again from our old docs. Delete the old docs. Fixing docs, hopefully. Hopefully that fixed them. Oh, Code Party says, is it PyCharm Community Edition? No, I'm using the Pro version, but I'm not sure that I'm actually using any of the Pro features right now. I think the big things with the Pro is the database browser and the Django integration. But yes, I do pay for the JetBrains suite of products. Alright, here we go, and here's our docs. Index, well, that one's usually broken, it's okay. And documentation. Our badge. Awesome. Now, one thing I want to fix, actually. Conf.py. There it is, master doc index. I want to change the theme. HTML theme. I'm going to leave it blank. Removing docs. Okay, so now if I remove the theme, then I'm going to get the nice read the docs theme. We'll give it a minute. It's probably going to take a minute to build. There it is. Okay, so now we can see down here we can download it in PDF, HTML, EPUB. We can search. We can even look through the different versions. There's only one though. We get the nice table of contents with the links to everything. Running it, Debian package, installing it as a service. You can edit the files right there. Just click edit, click the pencil. You can start editing. Nanopot can also be installed as a systemd service on Debian-based distributions. Commit. And there we go. Then we can go back and make sure it looks good. And there it is. Code Party says, so you can just have a talk on problem solving and how to improve this skill. Well, there's two parts to it, I think. One is just being able to break down the problem into smaller problems. You need to keep breaking down the problem until it's like the smallest possible unit of problem you can solve. And then from there you build up. So the most important thing with problem solving is being able to break your problem down into subtasks, and then break it down into subtasks until you can't break it down any further. And then you kind of recursively build up those building blocks back up to build your bigger abstraction. The other part is just experience. You just need experience understanding like what your possibilities are, what your options are, what design patterns there are. So it's a combination of just being able to break down problems and having experience. Okay, so one last thing I want to do here to make this a proper package. And so we've got the docs, which makes it legit, right? We've got the pypi package, so you can pip install. And we've also got the Debian package, which actually isn't explained here, but releases. Create a new release. 1.0.0. Basic working Honeypot. Okay. Stable working Debian package and Python package. Okay, so we need to add some files. I want to add two things. I want to add the .deb for one, and I want to add the Python package. No, wait, those are going to be the actual file names, huh? The cheesy is the Python package. Nanopod100.deb is the Debian package, if that wasn't obvious. Push. Okay, so now, in addition to having the source code, the documentation, the Python package, and all that good stuff, we've also now got a release here, where we can download the deb and install it, or download that and download the source code and everything. So that was a lesson on packaging stuff, and creating a honeypot. So mine's actually running right now, I think. Oh, I guess I'm gonna... I should have tested it one last time, shouldn't I? Status, Nanopot. Yeah, so let me see. Now it's fixed. Let me try systemctl restart Nanopot. Status failed. But why? Maybe it's cd verilog. Oh, you know what? It can't touch the log. It can't touch the log file. So I need to do something else. Interesting. It's gonna have to assume that that's the log file path for now, which is unfortunate. Touch verilog. Well, actually, it's not the service that's actually... Oh, you know what? I'm not sure how this is gonna work. Because if it does some log rotating, then the log will get rotated and the ownership will get lost again. 4269. Build it. Dpackage -i. Pots. Okay. Let's see if this works. Dpackage. So now there's a log file that it can actually touch. Status. Failed start. There we go. There we go. Success. Netstash dash listen. And now we can see, yeah, it's actually listening on these ports. Sudo systemctl disable nanopots. Stop nanopots. Okay. Now is it too late to go change the release? No, it looks like I can still do it. So this isn't very good because I'm re-uploading the same version. But that's okay. So I'm saying, setting permissions on, okay. Updating deb package scripts. And what I'm doing is, in Debian launch script, create default expected log file with proper permissions. Okay, so now I want to edit it and I want to add the file back. The one that's fixed. There we go. So now anybody can go ahead and download it and install it and it should work. Okay. Where are we at? 2 hours and 45 minutes? So it took about 3 hours to start a project from scratch. I don't like this. I don't like the idea of folder being in there. Okay. So it should already be in the ignore file too. They just got added too early. .idea, yeah. Okay, so it took about 3 hours to start a project from scratch. We wrote the documentation. We created a pypi package. We pushed it up to pypi. Oh, you know what? I think there's a pypi badge too. Why don't I add that too? See, this is gonna be nanopot on pypi. Badge URL. Let's see, I want the restructured text one. There we go. Copy to clipboard. Oh, it destroyed my IML, but that's okay. I want to change the README because I want to add a badge. And I'm also going to add it to the docs. Index. No, I'll add it into the quick start here. Actually, I'll move it over to the index. Okay. So now we've got a badge for the docs, a badge for pypi. Is there a GitHub badge? Even though we're already on GitHub. Fine, GitHub. We'll dev dungeon /nanopot find on GitHub. There it is. Why not? We'll grab that one too. I like the badges, I think they're cool. We'll add it there in our README here. Alright, they are pushed. Let's go confirm that they look amazing. And they do. Don't they look amazing? And they link to the packages and stuff too. So docs links to the docs, source code links to the source code, and they're automatically updated and everything. So that looks good to me. And we built the Debian package too. So we made a systemd service, we created a Debian package, we created the pip package, and we created the documentation that explains how to run it and install it with all those different methods. So I think that's a pretty good win for tonight. I hope you guys learned something about packaging and creating projects as a whole, on top of just, you know, the tiny part that was actually the Honeypot itself, the 60 lines or so. But I had fun. I hope you guys had fun too. I hope you enjoyed it. And before I go, I'm gonna do my plugs real quick. And so there's the YouTube channel that you're already watching. Go ahead and subscribe so that you can get in on the daily live streams. Come join the Discord server. If you go to devdungeon.com, in the right side there's a Join Me on Discord button. You can click that. Over here there's a link to my book, Security with Go. And one thing I wanted to tell you about is this hot new book that's coming out soon. Well, I don't know about soon, but Security with Rust. I'm gonna drop this into the chat. leanpub.com/security with Rust. You guys should check this out. It's a book that I'm working on in the similar vein to my Security with Go book. I'm making a Security with Rust book. It's not out yet, but it's going to be on LeanPub, so it's going to be real cheap. It's going to be directly available, and if you're interested, you can sign up and get notified. So go to leanpub.com/security with Rust, and then put in your email address. You don't even have to share it with me. You can just put in your email address, that way you'll get notified whenever it gets published, and you can tell me, you know, what you'd be willing to pay for it. But other than that, I'm glad you guys came out. I hope you had a good time. I'll see y'all tomorrow.